So ladies and gentlemen, I was gonna do a normal intro for this video, but Call of Duty Mobile actually went and gave me a shout out here for me hitting round 50 in zombies. They said congrats on making it to round 50 in the new zombies mode and subsequently hitting round 54 on the leaderboards. A new milestone to reach for all of you dedicated zombie slayers out there. I just want to say that this was really awesome. Huge big ups to Call of Duty Mobile here for the congratulations. But for this video, we're going to be going over all the buffs in Call of Duty Mobile Zombies and then ranking them from the worst all the way to the best. If you guys are new around here, be sure to go and subscribe for future Call of Duty Mobile videos, as well as if you guys do enjoy this video, be sure to go and give it a like, as well as one quick thing. I am planning on going for the world record once again for Call of Duty Mobile Zombies, so if you guys are interested in watching me do that live, be sure to go and check out Parker the Slayer live. Link will be in the description as well as in the pinned comment. But without further ado, we might as well begin here. Coming in at the number 6 spot is being the worst buff in Call of Duty Mobile Zombies. I have to give it here to Escapist. So just based off the description alone, it says when attacked, increase movement speed by 1% for 1 second. This effect has a 20-second cooldown. Now, on paper, this really doesn't sound that bad. What, you can go and increase your movement whenever you go and get hit, so you can go and better run away from the zombies there. But realistically speaking, like, first off, increase movement speed by 1%. That seems pretty horrendous. Like, yes, you can go and upgrade this, and obviously probably the movement speed will be increased here, but still, going from 1% to then level 2, it's still probably gonna be only a small little difference there. So in terms of that aspect of it, it's not anything too crazy, so even the buff itself isn't really that superior. But then actually implementing that factor into what the gameplay is actually like, I don't know, it's just the zombies, you don't really benefit as a player by having increased movement speed. Like, I just got done doing a round of 50 run here, and I didn't really even do that run with stamina up at all, and it wasn't really that significant of an experience for me. It's not like the traditional zombies that we know and love on console, in which, yeah, like, stamina can be useful, but it's not like a necessity at all. Especially when it comes to dog rounds, where the dogs don't even have an animation of spawning in. It's just like boom, just like that, they're on the map. Having an increased movement speed doesn't really help out in that situations, because when they do randomly come up like that and they spawn right in front of you there, you're not able to go and really move around in a certain area. It's just you either get trapped and you die, or you're able to go and get lucky and they don't spawn right in front of you at all. For the number 5 spot here, I have to go and give it to Staggers. So the description for Staggers is, when attacked, stagger all enemies within 3 meters for 0.5 seconds. This ability has a 45-second cooldown. And once again, on paper, this sounds like a really strong buff, and it kind of correlates to what I mentioned with one of the downfalls of going and having Escapist, in which, especially on like dog rounds, for example, when the dogs just randomly spawn in front of you there, you're not able to go and react in time, and that was kind of one of the downfalls with Escapist. But when it comes to Staggers here, and you have one of the random dogs spawn in front of you, and if they do happen to go and attack you, they're pretty much all stunned. And when I say all, I mean all within 3 meters, because that is a really important factor to go and factor in here. Now, if you guys have played zombies, you already know about the health system, and it can be a little bit difficult to go and read at times. Definitely if you have heavily been playing zombies, you probably understand, but when it comes to you getting a red screen in this zombies game, it feels like you get it for such a long period of time, and especially if you're dead red and you're 1 hit away from going and dying. Like, dude, 5 seconds could pass, and if one zombie happens to hit you within that 5-second period of time, it's gonna go and last another 5 seconds, and you're still gonna be just 1 hit away from going and fully dying again. So when it comes to Staggers here, let's say, for example, because the situation that Staggers would become a useful buff is you're trapped inside a building and you're at some type of a dead end, and a zombie happens to go and hit you, but then boom, all zombies within 3 meters of you are stunned, you're able to go and run away quickly. But theoretically, zombies come in kind of in these waves types of formats. It's not always like them being in one central location. So even though on paper here, it would appear that staggers would just be amazing in the situation that I just described, but in the actual gameplay element of it, no, staggers is not the way to go. As well as there's just so many other buffs on this list here that are just way better to go and get rather than staggers. Coming in at the number 4 spot here, we have rapid reload. So this might be a buff a lot of people are going to be surprised by, because when it comes to the red versus the blue buffs here, for the most part, a lot of people would just suggest, oh, the blue buffs, they all seem like trash. But I do believe that one of the other blue buffs, which I'm going to be mentioning later on in this list here, has to be better than rapid reload. So for the description alone, it says reload speed is plus 10%, headshot damage plus 10%, after fully reloaded. So I'm not gonna lie, this was a really difficult placement because I can see this being a really useful thing, especially if you're doing something like a hardcore raid, or you're playing with a couple buddies of yours and you're just kind of like messing around, maybe potentially getting to the higher rounds, but you might not have something like a ray gun, for example. The primary feature that makes rapid reload amazing is the headshot damage. So if you have something like the HG40 Lava, for example, and you go and have rapid reload and you're playing with a couple buddies of yours, dude, this is going to be an amazing thing. Like, I would probably rather prefer rapid reload over a lot of these other buffs if I was to go and play in like a teammate setting. But if I'm going for super high rounds and I want to be able to get all the way up to that round 50, I think I would just rather prefer some of the other remaining buffs here, because when it comes to rapid reload, it's like you have to have a gun that isn't a ray gun in order for it to be useful at all. Because if you guys don't know, with the ray gun, it's better to go and aim at the ground just so that you can have that whole splash damage effect to it. And when you go and compare it with some of the other buffs that I'm going to go and mention here on this list, it just serves such a better purpose. But even for talking about what rapid reload is supposed to be all about, which is just the reload speed, when it does come to the reload speed and even like speed cola, for example, it's not like those types of perks are essential, if we're being completely honest. Essential perks in my eyes when it comes to traditional zombies on the consoles like Juggernog, Quick Revive, like those are definite essentials, especially if you're in solo play with Quick Revive. But when it comes to additional perks that just help with your overall gameplay, then yes, maybe you can go with the speed cola, the double tap, but it's not like it's a necessity to go and have. So now we're going to be on to the final 3 buffs here, and I gotta say that these are definitely the essentials. Like, typically during a game of zombies here for Call of Duty Mobile, you're able to go and choose 3 of your buffs. And man, I would highly recommend this setup right here, but I have to give the number 3 spot here to Breakthrough. So when it comes to Breakthrough, it increases player HP by 10%. And that truly is like an amazing buff, man. Being able to go and make it so that you can take more hits from the zombies, essentially by going and getting a buff that you can go and then further upgrade. It's just such an essential buff if you want to be able to go and get to those higher rounds there. There isn't really that much to go and say. It's just like pretty much having another addition to Juggernog there. Okay, now this is where things get a little bit tricky for me. Like, dude, if I could have 2 number 1 spots, I would definitely go and place these buffs here. But I guess we're coming in at the number 2 spot, and like I mentioned, it's really close to going and being the number 1. I think I have to go and give it to Up and Up. So for the description, it says increase damage dealt by 6% for 3 seconds after killing an enemy. This effect can stack up to 3 times. So that's probably the most important thing. Like, don't get me wrong, yes, increase damage dealt by 6% for 3 seconds, yeah, that's pretty solid, but you can go and stack this up, which will essentially increase the damage even more. So yeah, man, especially pair this alongside with the further upgrades that you can go and do, Up and Up is a pretty solid buff system here. Now coming in at the number 1 spot as being the best buff in Call of Duty Mobile Zombies, I have to give it to attack weaknesses, man, and it really is just as simple as increased damage dealt by 10%. Now the main reason why I didn't go and give this to Up and Up is that I feel like when it comes to attack weaknesses, it's just the best buff in all situations. Whether or not you're playing with a couple buddies of yours, or you're doing solo play, whether or not you're on survival, or you're doing just a normal or hardcore raid, having the ability to go and do more damage to bosses or zombies, that's just always a significant game changer. That's why people like wonder weapons, because wonder weapons do more damage to the zombies. You're able to go and get to those higher rounds. So yeah, man, attack weaknesses, being able to go and increase damage dealt by 10%, which is, first off, a significant amount of damage that you can go and do, which is 10%. And then you can even level up from that point moving forward as well by going and doing the whole upgrade system. So yeah, attack weaknesses definitely deserves the number 1 spot here. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to go and conclude the video today. Thank you guys oh so very much for tuning in and watching. I really do appreciate that. If you guys once again want to go and watch me do a high round world record attempt on Call of Duty Mobile Zombies, be sure to go and check out Parker the Slayer live, link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. But without further ado, my name is Parker. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful and fabulous day, because I certainly am, and I guess I'll talk to you guys in the next video.